I love the first Splatoon. It's such a fun game with cool characters and a fun community that I couldn't help coming back to it. Splatoon 1 even ended up selling 4.8 million copies despite being on Wii U. It was a surprise highlight of the Wii U, and easily my second favorite game on the system behind Smash Wii U. When they teased a new Splatoon with a Switch announcement, you can bet that I was excited. When it was announced that we would get a full sequel instead of a port, my hype thrusters were set to splat. With how well the first game sold despite being on a struggling system, Nintendo was ready to fund the hell out of a sequel to sell Switches. Splatoon 2 has easily been my most anticipated game since Breath of the Wild came out, and I've been anxiously waiting to spend the rest of my summer with it. Enough talk, let's dive right into this. In case you're unfamiliar with this strange concept of a game, I'll enlighten you a bit. In Splatoon, you play as Squid Kid hybrids known as Inklings. It's a multiplayer post-apocalyptic shooter where everyone has to fight over what color to paint the floor. And yes, you didn't mishear me. This game takes place in the apocalypse. Something about mass flooding a couple 100,000 years ago and wiping out all land life, allowing ocean life to rise as the dominant species on the planet. Inklings ironically can't swim though. Oil coat would like a word with you, Splatoon. Anyway, the goal of Tour Force, the main multiplayer mode, is to shoot more ground with your ink than the other team. Holding ZL turns you into a squid. While in this form, you move faster, regenerate your ink that's used for ammo, and recover health quicker. You can even ink up walls and use your squid form to climb up them. Stepping in the other team's ink slowly damages you and makes you move way slower. Avoid that and stay in your own ink. The X button brings up the map and it really gives you an overview on how the game's going. Select one of your teammates and press A to do a super jump and land at their position. It really gives you a motivation to stay alive, since just staying alive helps bring your dead teammates back to the heat of battle. Splatoon is one of those easy to learn, hard to master kind of games. Playing it has this kind of flow to it, you'll just gradually learn as you play. Ink as much area as you can. If you don't find anywhere else to ink, go into Squid form and find more places to ink, splatting anyone you see along the way. This game refers to kill as a splatting, because they've gotta keep that E10 rating. The game may be simple and predictable, but that's what makes it so much fun. If Splatoon was this deep, complex game, it wouldn't be as much fun as it is. It's a nice, simple game to jump in and have fun with, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. After you get to level 4, that's when Splatoon 2 gets really fun. After you ease into the idea of what everything is and how the game works, that's when you can start buying new weapons and gear. You see, each weapon, while obviously having a different weapon, has a grenade called a sub-weapon that can be used with R, and a special ability that can be used by clicking the right analog stick when the meter is full. Think of specials as your ultimate. You fill up the meter by covering the ground with ink. When you die, you also lose a bit of your special meter, but not all of it. Specials are less powerful in the first game, but you end up getting them way more often. My favorites being Ink Homer, which negates the next hit you take, and Splashdown, which causes an explosion around you. Ink Homer is really damn useful, especially since the whole team gets it when you activate it. Splashdown is surprisingly useful for clearing a room. You can even use it mid-super jump and explode where you land. It's always satisfying as hell when you splash down mid-super jump and manage to kill a player that way. Splatoon 1 had a lot of weapons by the end of its life, and while Splatoon 2 doesn't currently have nearly as many, I'm sure it'll get there with updates. There's 8 different weapon classes now as opposed to Splatoon 1's 3 at launch. As for gear, you have 3 slots to equip gear on your character, being head, clothes, and shoes. They can have up to 4 ability slots, which gives you stat buffs. The first slot, however, cannot be changed. It's the 3 slots below the main one that will change once the gear levels up. Some gear have a higher chance of getting certain abilities, but it's ultimately random what you get upon the gear leveling up. You can visit merch by the lobby entrance, and you can pay in-game cash and increase the number of ability slots and reroll your abilities. In Splatoon 2, you can even scrub abilities and remove all of the gear's abilities, but in return, you get ability chunks that the abilities is just lost. With 10 ability chunks, you can put that ability on whatever gear you want. This is a huge improvement over the first game. If you want specific abilities, you have to keep re-rolling until you get lucky. It makes the game a bit more grindy, but it's a lot more fair because of it. You can, however, ignore merch entirely. Having specific abilities are not necessary for casual play. They definitely help, but if you don't care about abilities, you're not missing out on much. You can scan in Splatoon amiibo and get some exclusive gear from those. Splatoon 1 amiibo will work too, and they give the same items they did for the first game. I have to say though, they really stepped up the amiibo quality for this one. These new amiibo look really great, and they're up there for some of my favorites. When it comes to actual weapons, shooters are the usual machine gun kind of weapon. Mid-range, good rapid fire, good damage output, just good all-around weapons. Blasters are similar to shooters, but they're more like grenade launchers. They lack range, but they send out splash damage and are really good at killing other players. One direct hit is enough to kill another player with a standard blaster. Rollers are giant paint rollers that are pretty much the melee weapon of Splatoon. While they lack range, they have high attack power and have really good turf coverage. Holding ZO rolls it on the ground, while pressing ZO sends a flick of ink forward. If you run over someone while rolling, they basically die. In Splatoon 2, when you press ZO in the air, you send out a vertical pan attack as opposed to the normal horizontal one. Rushers are similar to rollers, but they have less coverage but faster firing speeds and faster rolling speeds. Soldiers are essentially snipers, not the best up close, but great at long ranges. In Splatoon 2, you keep your charge after a short period of time after going into squid form.
Sniping's a good job, mate.
Next up are sloshers.
This is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
Fire will throw a bunch of ink out of your paint bucket. The ink falls after fire, so you can use it to hit opponents above you pretty easily. This is a paint bucket of doom. What more do you want? These things are surprisingly fun to use. Don't underestimate them despite how dumb the concept is. Splatlanes are friggin' paint miniguns. Paint miniguns. Charge up with ink and then send it all flying. These things are powerful but slow. They have range similar to chargers too. I've always found them a bit weird to control, but I've seen them put to damn fine use. Splatoon 2 introduces 2 new weapon types, with the first being dualies. They're basically dual-wielding pistols and have similar use to shooters. But if you jump while shooting, you do a dodge roll. They trade damage per shot for faster firing and more mobility. Dualies are really fun to use, and a lot of people seem to agree with me because it seems like it's one of the most used weapons in the game. I'm not sure if that's just because it's new or it's just really fun to use, but hey, it's a pretty great weapon. And finally, there's the Umbrella, and a weapon that's borderline stolen from Kingsmen. You use an umbrella as a shotgun. Holding down the fire button makes the Umbrella an impenetrable shield that also doubles as a bomb. Umbrellas are currently only in single player, and it's a damn shame, because I had a lot of fun using it in the level you unlock it in. Every class is good, and there's plenty of playstyles, so you're bound to find one that really works for you. My favorites right now are the Splatter Shot and the NZAP 85. Yes, they really made the NES Zapper into a weapon. Make a super scoped charger and I'll throw all my cash out even though I'm terrible with chargers. All this multiplayer is great, but what if I don't have internet for this portable game? Well, time to head over to Octo Valley for the single player campaign. I might as well explain the story for the first game while I'm at it since they're so simple. Honestly, we're not missing much by spoiling the first game's plot. It's virtually the same anyway. The main source of power for Inkredible, being the Great Zapfish, has been stolen. The town doesn't seem to be very concerned that their only source of power is gone, though. Walking into a suspicious-looking pothole, and the old guy there was just like, well, might as well make this random kid save the Zapfish. This old guy's named Captain Cuttlefish, by the way. Go through Octo Valley, rescue a bunch of smaller Zapfish that aren't the Great Zapfish, yet hope for ages 1 and 2, until we find the Great Zapfish. It's been stolen by DJ Octavio, a pun-spouting octopus DJ that's evil and stuff. You kick his ass for a bit, and it turns out that ages 1 and 2 and Callie and Marie, also known as the Squid Sisters even though they're actually cousins, who were the stage announcers of the first game. They're pop stars too, but that's not too important right now. Also, Cuttlefish is their grandpa. And one of my favorite final bosses ever, you kick Octavio's ass and the day is saved. It's your usual Saturday morning cartoon story. We're the good guys, they're the bad guys. Go defeat the bad guys. And now we're at the second game. The Great Zapfish has gone missing again. How the hell does this huge fish get kidnapped twice? Meanwhile, Callie's gone missing and Paul isn't concerned at all, you bitch. Oh, hey, Marie's standing on a suspicious looking manhole. Let's go say hi to— oh, there she goes. The Zapfish has been stolen by the Octarians again. Who would have thought? And now it's Agent 4. It's up to you to save all the Zapfish, defeat the Octarians, find Callie, yada yada yada. We did all this last game. As for the actual campaign, it's pretty great and vastly improved from the first game. You start out in a hub area, and from there you have to find each level. Finish all the levels in an area, and you fight a boss. Defeat the boss, move on to the next area until the end of the game. Each level is pretty much a linear obstacle course that teaches you how to play the game without feeling like a tutorial. It feels like a natural extension of the multiplayer, and it's overall a nice package here. It's pretty short at around 6 hours, but it's not the reason you buy the game. The biggest issue with the last game is the single player has you using one weapon the entire game and nothing else. The creative stage mechanics offer variety, but there wasn't a variety in weapons. Splatoon 2 fixes this by having Sheldon, the guy who owns a weapon shop, request that you use a specific weapon the first time you play a level. After completing a stage, you can use whatever weapon you want, and the level design is changed to accommodate it. Hidden in each stage are 2 collectibles: a sunken skull that expands upon the game's lore, and a Sodinium which can be used with power eggs gained from defeating enemies to upgrade your weapons. Honestly, the default power of all the single player weapons will get you through just about the entire game. You shouldn't stress about missing these. You can also occasionally find meal tickets for the food stand in Inkredible Square. You can use these tickets to get XP and money bonuses in multiplayer. The bosses are way better than the first game too, my favorite being a squid samurai on a unicycle. Not spoiling past the second boss, but they're really fun and challenging. But before fighting the final boss, just make sure to upgrade your hero shot to level 2, otherwise the fight's impossible. Don't be like me and stand around for 10 minutes because I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. God damn, is this final boss awesome. Hopefully you've skipped the time on screen back there, because you're just bringing it upon yourself at this point. Seriously, just go into it blind if you haven't seen the final boss yet. Alright, now that people are definitely gone, it turns out that Callie's been mind-controlled by DJ Octavio, and is now wearing this awesome outfit. The first two phases are mostly the same, with you dodging a bunch of center attacks, and you shooting his pimped out fist back at him. Keep doing that, and Marie comes in and snipes the hypno shades off of Callie. One more phase of this, and Marie starts playing their hit song, and Callie snaps out of her mind control. I have to say, Callie's pretty incredible at changing costumes quickly. After some quick dance moves, Sheldon gives you the friggin' Rainmaker. You know, the weapon so powerful that it's his own mode. So the final boss is riding on Grindwells while wielding the best weapon in the game while there's a Squid Sisters concert in the background. You land the final blow to him by slamming down the Rainmaker on his dumb octopus face. And so, the day's been saved, the great Zapfish is back, DJ Octavio is back in his snow globe prison, yada yada yada. We did all this last game. I still prefer the final boss of the first game. This is still a great way to end the game. Even after you finish single player, don't care enough to even play it because you have to be that guy. There's still more modes to play other than Turf Wars. First up is a new mode, Salmon Run. It's Splatoon's hold mode and it's a hell of a lot of fun. You're tasked with defeating salmonids, which are pretty much fish zombies, stealing their power eggs and bringing back gold eggs from boss salmonids. Despite being hard bosses, they're not that hard to take down. It mostly just comes down to them being stronger than the other enemies. Get enough golden eggs and survive for 3 rounds and you win. Weapons are switch around between players at the end of each wave, and the tide can even rise or lower, changing the amount of land you have to play on. When you die, you revert to this poor-looking life preserver and can be revived by your teammates shooting you with some ink. Don't leave the bosses alone though. You get overwhelmed by enemies pretty easily if you let it happen. It's only available at certain times, which is a shame. It's the kind of mode that's so fun, and I can see people playing it more than Turf Wars. You even get bonuses for getting enough wins in a single game, so it can be worth playing just for that. There really should be a compromise here. How about you can play the mode whenever you want, but you only get the rewards out of it during certain times. It'd be a nice middle ground between being able to have fun and be rewarded at certain times like its intention. Once you reach your level 10, you unlock your ranked mode. In ranked, you play modes other than Turf Wars, and if you win the objective before the timer runs out, you get a lot more experience and money, while the other team gets basically nothing. You also have a rank to worry about, and each mode has its own rank this time around. The first ranked mode is Splat Zones. It's basically King the Hill. Keep the zone filled with your team's ink longer than the opponent. If your team loses control, you get a penalty on the timer, giving the opponent a chance to recover. Some maps even have 2 points you have to keep track of, making teamwork necessary. I find people work together on this mode strangely well even without voice chat. It's my favorite of the 3 ranked modes. It feels like a natural extension of Turf Wars, and that's what makes it so intense and fun. Next is Tower Control, which is pretty much payload from Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, but both teams have to capture the same tower. This mode's fun too, but it requires a different skill set than the first 2 modes. Before we had to focus on covering ground, but now we have to worry about getting kills to keep the other team off the tower. Last but not least is Rainmaker. It's essentially Splatoon's capture the flag, except the flag is the best weapon in the game. There's a shield around the Rainmaker, and after it's destroyed, it sends out an explosion of the team ink that destroyed it. The player that takes the Rainmaker has to take it to this pedestal near the enemy spawn, and the rest of the team has to defend them. You have to hurry because you have a minute before you automatically die. It drops where the wielder dies, and both teams have to fight for it. This mode's alright. I've never really been into it, but I've seen some pretty insane Rainmaker users. All it really takes to win is a good wielder of the weapon. I love these extra modes, but there really needs to be a non-ranked version to play. The only way to play these modes outside of ranked is with a private game with friends. It's not a huge deal, but it can be a turn-off to a lot of people. At least there's no one on the voice chat to tell everyone that they suck. Splatoon 2 is an awesome game that I love, but its big multiplayer issues won't fix them in the first game. The only way to join a friend's game is to join their game and wait for the code match to end. Basically, there was no party system. Adding in a party system would make playing with friends way more fun. If you want to keep playing with friends, there's a lot of waiting involved when there really shouldn't be. And besides, this feature already existed for ranked matches, so why not in Turf Wars? Which brings me to the new issue with ranked. There was no more squad battles. Yes, the feature that existed in the first game to let you play ranked mode with friends is gone and replaced with league battles. In a group of 2 or 4, not 3, you play ranks for 2-hour periods, and if you get enough points, you win a medal. This seems like a step backwards, to be honest. The rules suppose that everyone involved has to be at least rank B-, so in order to do the closest thing to play with friends in ranked, you all need to be good at the game. It's a homeless edition, but because of the lack of squad battles now, what's the point? A party system would be a doable addition, especially if it was there in the first game, if only in ranked mode. This isn't a deal breaker, but it just makes playing with friends way more annoying than it should be. It's not a permanent flaw, and it should really be included in one of the content updates we'll be getting for the next year or so. The lack of a party system isn't even the most glaring flaw with Splatoon 2, it's the way they handle voice chat. The voice chat is not available in-game. In order to use voice chat, you need to go into the online and lounge mode, which is exactly the same as private battles, but invite only. Okay, that's fine, except for the fact that you need to download an app onto your mobile device. In the Nintendo Switch Online app, you can check your in-game stats, the code in upcoming map rotations, and buy exclusive gear from shops. The stages rotate every 2 hours. I think it's fine, but they really need to up the amount of stages to 3. The voice chat function of this app is absolutely atrocious. If you go to another app, the voice chat no longer works until you go back to the Switch app. Why? That alone makes it basically useless. Not to mention the fact that if the screen goes off, it also disconnects you. I like the idea of this. Instead of needing to buy a microphone, why not just use your phone? Having this app as an option is a good idea. It's just that its implementation is awful. It's so bad, because since you're already using your phone or tablet, you might as well just go back to using Skype or Discord. Nintendo is really kicking themselves for not including a mic port on their controllers. This isn't unfixable. Actually fixing the app to work the way it should is definitely a start, but voice chat needs to be available in-game. Why not make an adapter that plugs into the USB-C port that adds mic functionality? I'm not talking the mic port on the system, even though that would work too. I mean the one on the Pro Controller and charging grip. Even if it's a separately sold accessory, it's way better than the current option of not being able to do with that additional hardware. Xbox One already does this, so it's definitely not an impossibility. While at it, why not include Bluetooth mic support in a system update? In its current state, the voice chat's awful, but at least it's not impossible to fix. Onto the smaller complaints, the new announcers are just alright. Callie and Marie had this great chemistry between them that Pearl and Marina lack. Callie and Marie felt like two sisters having a good time together, while Pearl and Marina just felt like really friendly co-workers. Pearl and Marina don't really do anything either. Callie and Marina had a huge part in the game's plot, but Pearl and Marina are just kinda there. I'm not convinced they're even allowed to leave that room of theirs. It's annoying how we can't skip their announcements either. At least I don't have to listen to them when the maps change now. I wish they could at least turn off certain announcements. I don't even have league battles unlocked. Why should I care what stage is up for that mode? You still can't change your gear while in the lobby either. It's a bigger deal than it sounds, but it would really help if you could. But hell if I care about these complaints, because Splatoon 2 is still one of the best shooters I've ever played. A common complaint is that it feels too much like the first game, and while I can agree with that, I was having way too much fun to care. With 8 maps, 5 modes, and a full single-player campaign, it's easily worth the $60 even at launch. Splatoon 2 doesn't have the content problem the first game had at launch. You'll get your money's worth right away with this one. And you really should jump into this, because this game's the most fun I've had with my Switch since Breath of the Wild. Hell, it's the most fun I've had since Overwatch came out last year. Special thanks to everyone who's played with me in-game. Without everyone playing, none of us could be having fun. And if you've seen me in matches, it's been great playing with all of you. This has been that Flame Assassin guy, and you're seriously missing out if you don't play Splatoon 2. It's just that fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next mission.